Listen, sometimes a solidified answer can be worthless, especially when they don't have a meaning. Because if you're asking me to respond to a video in order to say you got my attention, it means that your solidified response or your solidified advice has no fruitful meaning to you. When people ask me a question, this is what people normally do when I answer the question. They go out, they find the facts to the question, and then they come back to me with the answer. Sometimes it takes a month, sometimes it takes the next day, sometimes it takes 2 weeks, sometimes it takes 3 days, 14 days, whatever. But when people ask me a question, they always find the solid proof in the store and they ask me, how does this work? And I got to go and make sure that I find out how it works in order to continue part two of their solidified question. I always tell people if there's a part one to your question, there's a final answer to your question, which is a solid fact. And the solid fact to your question always leads to proof somewhere that says you are valid because you asked a question that proved a valid to solid point in the form of a product. So if you're going to ask me a question in order to try and such judge up a judgment, let's say, in order to say, oh, it's a competition, in order to get answer to answer, no, ma'am, no, it don't work like that with me. That's why they always come back and they say how this work. Anyone ever come back to you and then ask you how this work? Because maybe that's your answer, that you've given them the correct answer the first time around. When they come back to you and say, how this work? I found the physical proof. Ask yourself that. Do this work?